This is Gary Atencia with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. We're at E3 Fitness. Since 2008, they have been creating fitness leaders who inspire positive, healthy lifestyles. I'm here with Justin, who is the owner. Thanks for joining us, Justin. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. Many of us are lucky enough to grow up with a fitness family, possibly working out as an athlete as we grow up. Others, well, we have to glance in the mirror a few times, start comparing our body to the peers around us. Share with me how it is you got involved in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool you asked it that way too. I tell you what, I wasn't a D1 athlete. I wasn't the best athlete on my high school teams. I played the high school teams, and I was always that guy, 2 or 3 people in the shadows. So I know what it feels like to, still be there with everybody and partially competitive, but not quite at that level. And I did that for years, up until the point where I think it really started to limit maybe how I interacted with people, how I talked with people, maybe how I perceived myself and some of the challenges I took on. I went through high school, went through college, and all the while, I think I had an outward focus to others that wasn't as good as the inward focus I had on myself. So fitness became salvation for me. It's one of those things that I could count reps, I could count weight, I could count sets, and every week or every month and every year I could count a little bit more and a little bit more, and it started to give me the data that I needed to say, hey, you are better than where you were used to be. And with that confidence, that just started to bleed into all the other areas, from what I decided to do with my life, how I interact with people, how I interact with people, up to like my now wife. I mean, I think back to if I never got put in the position where I could come face to face with fitness as a real salvation for me, then I probably wouldn't be where I am today, period. So.
Man, that is a great story. I mean, quite honestly, regardless of how people get there, at some point in our lives, we sit down and we say, hey, lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, fitness is important. At that moment, the decision has to be a little overwhelming. I mean, quite honestly, how many gyms are out there? How many programs out there? I mean, is there a common thread of some fundamentals that, we need to focus on? Is that something we're going to find here at this gym?
Yeah, so here's what this gym is. It's a really sexy version of picking up heavy stuff, putting it back down, and running really fast. There's 6 foundational movements. You can push, pull, you can squat, you can lunge, you have balance, and you have rotation. Every fitness exercise that anybody is doing from here, outside of here, from New York to LA, everybody is doing a combination of that. So the bent over dumbbell row, very basic pulling exercise. Well, people do bent over dumbbell rows forever, and because I'm E3 Fitness and we're super creative and look at how awesome we are, we're going to do a bent over dumbbell row, but we're going to use kettlebells and we're going to stand on a BOSU while we do it, and we're going to do it a little bit faster. So it's still the same move. We're just combining these 6 foundational movements to make it something flashier, something better. And I'm not saying that there's no science rooted in some of the extra stuff we do, but at the end of the day, there's 6 movements. All of us gyms are coaching 6 movements. It's just a matter of how we deliver it.
Excellent. Speaking of delivering it, before we even start to get results out there, how important is it for people to see that exceptional version of themselves? And is that something you can help with before they jump out there?
So it's funny. So before every workout we do in here, we have a thing called a chalk talk. So it started because I didn't have enough money to build a nice projection board, so I painted a chalkboard on the wall. Became Chalk Talks. Now it's a fun thing. So before every workout, we do this Chalk Talk, and basically all of my members come in, regardless if I have 6 in a specific session or if I have 18 people come into a workout. They all come together and we do a quick little 3 or 4 minute chat. In that chat, we can cover anything from just motivation to nutritional stuff to education on movement patterns, but the whole theme of all of them are always, how do I get people to go from this view, because this view includes life, work, family, kids, responsibilities, obligations, and how do I get them to just do this and say that for this short amount of time, the only person on the planet that matters is you. And so for right now, if you're the only one that matters, how can I get the best you? And sometimes it's Tony Robbins and great, and sometimes it's just, I'll be honest with you, maybe some foul language and a slap in the butt, and that's what it takes. But it's always saying, hey, listen, for 45 minutes, no one matters but you. And if we can get people to do that and connect for a short amount of time, all the stuff you're talking about, being able to reach to a better version of ourselves and tap into that that happens when we can take that real introspective look, It just does. It's kind of that feeling you get out of a service on Sunday morning maybe. Everyone feels good about life now. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to apply those things and I feel good. But if I can do that every day with somebody, odds are that it can really start to be applied. So
excellent. I mean, fitness is not a one-size-fits-all. We all walk through those doors with different goals. Some are top core athletes. Other ones are trying to lose a little bit of weight. Are the programs here flexible enough to really gain successful results for almost anyone?
Yeah, cool. And we're tapping a bit into programming, which I'll nerd out on. But we use the word progressional. So I have people in here. I have current Denver Broncos in here. I have former Denver Broncos in here. I have house moms in here. I have people that are pregnant. I have people that just had a kid. And then everyone in between. Not to say those are the two ends of the spectrum, but I mean, it really shows the breadth of people that we have here. And we're progressional. So every exercise that we coach has a beginner, intermediate, and an advanced exercise. So if you and I are going to walk into a workout together and one of our coaches is going to take us through a workout, I may, in a certain category, be doing an advanced move while you're just still trying to learn, well, I've never done this before. And in the very next exercise, you may be ripping out pull-ups left and right, and I'm still struggling to try to engage my lats. So we coach progressional. There's always going to be 3 tiers of different exercises, or 3 tiers within the same exercise, so I can meet people with wherever they're at.
Share with me with an E3 team group, what would happen in one of those groups? Just share with me what maybe a basic hour would look like. Yeah,
so we start with a chalk talk, 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes, kind of get your head right. We do a 7-minute dynamic warm-up, which everybody can do. In those warm-ups, my coaches get to see, does somebody move in a certain way that's not quite right? Is this person's tight hips inhibiting them? Do they have a problem hamstring? Is their shoulder not quite right? So it's a 7-minute dynamic warm-up that serves both to warm up the athlete and then also to give my coaches information on that athlete. Then we break into our groups. So we limit 6 members per coach in our primary program. And within that, my coach will show the 6 people 3 exercises. We run through that circuit 3 times. The whole group comes together for 2 minutes of cardio in the middle. That's just to jolt the heart rate, get the system firing again. Then we break again, 3 new exercises for 3 rounds, finish with 2 minutes of cardio. It's 45 minutes. It goes from tip to tail, constant motion. No one's sitting down. We don't have chairs in here. These came from our juice bar. We don't have chairs in here, and we don't have machines that you sit at. Everything just keeps moving.
Excellent. So you're talking about small groups that can focus in. You're basically working for yourself, but you're not by yourself. I like that because people like working next to each other. What about private training? Is there ever a time where you should begin with private training or maybe even end private training to kind of hone in on what you're doing?
Yeah, great question. So every new member comes in here and we give them what we call the E3 experience. It's a 2-week trial. It shows our small group workouts, our large group workouts, and then they get one-on-one private. In that one-on-one, we do a version of a functional movement screen or an FMS screen that our coaches are certified in, and it takes the normal person or the athlete, whoever it may be, through a series of movement patterns that simply say, hey, do my calves talk to my hamstrings, talk to my glutes, talk to my lower erectors? Does that all talk to my upper body? Do I then talk to my brain with my muscles, and then back and forth? And so it's a series of just structural movements that can show what does and doesn't work. So that is the one-on-one training that we do for everybody, and they always get that at least that one time. Outside of that, we have some people in here training for Ironman. We have people with triathlons. We have marathoners trying to PR. We have guys that are mountain bike racers and want to increase their cardio abilities. And so in those regards, we'll work sport-specific one-on-one training, and then always for post-injury. I love PT. PT is something that you couldn't go through an injury without. But what happens when I go past the basic PT exercises that have been taught? How do I go back to the former me? Because that's what I'm looking for. We'll work with people on that level too.
Each one of these workouts have a singular focus that they can really help with. I mean, give me an example of what the differences may be. Let's say kettlebell versus that of Inferno versus that of gravity. How do each one of these things do a little something different?
Yeah, so when we're talking about our team programming, it's larger group fitness on that side. And the idea is after 30 minutes of watching this video, people are going to be bored and ready to move on to the next thing, right? So we hone those workouts down to just 30 minutes in that programming. And that way for 30 minutes, you can say, hey, listen, this kettlebell is heavy. This thing is not my friend right now. But for 30 minutes, I can attack this kettlebell because as soon as that's over, I know I'm going to move into cross-train or Inferno or Enduro. And each of those have a different focus, be it from working my ability to get up and down through my heart rate zones or just full-out cardio or full-body training or core activation or whatever it may be. So we break those up into different intervals so people can focus intently for a short amount of time.
So not only does pairing them up together make it more interesting, but it also gives maximum results.
Yeah, totally. I mean, listen, we're animals. Really? We are. So if I'm working out next to another guy, I may not directly be competing with that dude, but I'm competing with myself, competing with that guy. And the same applies if I'm working out next to, if my wife's in a workout next to me, I'll tell you what, I work out a whole heck of a lot harder than if I'm in the workout by myself. So we just have that deep-rooted and like the innate desire to want to puff our chest just a little bit, and just enough to kind of pull that extra something.
Training like an athlete, you're going to feel like an athlete. You really can come in for a kick, 30 minutes, or you can go and keep it extending out and end up going 3 hours if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, especially on Saturdays. Saturdays, the gauntlet in here. We run 4 of those 30-minute classes back to back to back to back. So for the people that are into it, you can come in here and you can rip 2 hours. And listen now, that's not something for everybody all the time, but sometimes it's time to just turn up the dial and see what I got today. Oftentimes it comes after maybe some poor dinner choices the night before.
Let me ask you this. You said you got let's say professional athletes coming in. So we're basically having the same effective workouts along with professional athletes, but at the same time, this is for community. This is for anybody who can come through the door, wants to feel good about themselves, and is looking for that great salvation that you found.
Yeah, here's the thing, I'm a nutbag. I'm crazy. When people come in the gym, part of it's natural, a lot of it's this amazing espresso machine I have at home, but nonetheless, people come in and I'm jolted and excited. I don't expect every member to be like that. They couldn't be. We apply to everyone. So initially some people meet me and they go, man, I couldn't train with you, it's gonna freak me out. And I go, listen man, I know, it sounds freaky, but you can do it. And we make it approachable for everybody. If you walk through the gym right now with the camera, you're gonna see all types of different people. You're gonna see young dudes that are athletes. You're gonna see older guys that haven't worked out in 5, 6, 7 years because they've been standing behind a dang computer. And then you're gonna see people in between that. And that's just kind of how it works.
You have coaches that are able to provide proper feedback. You're also able to tie in some technology with feedback. Share with me what the MyZone is and how that helps out.
Yeah, absolutely. So we use MyZone heart rate training. It's gotten popular. I think we're data nerds now. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we're data nerds in every category of life, right? I want to acquire as much data as possible. Nobody goes on a hike anymore without their GPS tracking them. Nobody does anything anymore without movement tracking systems. So ours is MyZone. It allows us to see during a workout what our current members' heart rate zone's at. Now, other companies will do this as well. The way we use it is less about what was your total output. It's great to know how many calories did I burn, and that's beautiful. But more about within my workout, how can I move between heart rate zones knowing what I'm supposed to be doing? So a quick recap. If I'm in my 70% of my heart rate zone, I should be doing a lot of strength work in that category. If I'm doing full body movements that are much more compound, I'm probably into the 80s of my heart rate zones. If I'm doing ballistic, explosive, dynamic movement, I'm probably up into the 90s or breaking into that. And so we start talking about the aerobic and anaerobic threshold, which is really nerdy data for us to see and say, hey, can Gary here go from aerobic to anaerobic and then back to aerobic? And when we can start to see your ability to jump between zones, paired up with movement that should dictate that, we can now start to see, wow, he's becoming more athletic. And when we know you're becoming more athletic, now we know it's time, we can challenge him a bit more, and we keep that evolution going on and on. And now our system also works outside of the gym. So that's for in the gym workouts. But you have this heart rate monitor, worn on the chest, and this weekend you're gonna go for a long run, a long trail run. Great, wear that band. When you come back into the facility on Monday morning, the system's gonna pick you up, it's gonna download all the data stored on that, and it's gonna then let us see, hey, on that trail run, were you really effective? Because how cool would it be to find out, man, I've been running a lap at Wash Park for the longest time for cardio. How cool if I could show you, hey, that's kind of effective, but you could do this 25-minute jump rope workout and earn more work towards your fitness. Would you rather do 25 minutes on this jump rope workout at home, or do you want to go to the park and spend an hour running around in circles? And so it's a real good feedback system both in and out of the gym for our members.
In and out of the gyms we're talking about here in the gym. We've got seasonal camps you guys provide. Pretty much a well-rounded approach to fitness. I love it. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is our website. First of all, on the website, take a look at the philosophy of this company. Basically, we're talking about motions, 6 different things they're doing. He says it's a sexy way of doing it. I think that is totally true. You can also see what some of their schedules right there. They're always online. You can see when you can come in, join in. This is really a place that will adapt to you. Like he says, he's taking a progressive approach for each individual. And keep in mind, this is something that is good for everybody. I mean, you're not only cardio, but you're talking about it's got to extend out into your personal life as well. The confidence that you're getting there.
Yeah, and that's really, we spend a lot of time talking about the workout portion of this, but at the end of the day, our sole goal is to pair up the way you live outside of this gym with the way you live inside of this gym. So everything we do that's outside of pure workouts is all geared toward that. We're heavy on the community. You said our motto when you first started this program here: create fitness leaders who inspire. I want to change you. I really do. I want to help you out. But if I can help you in such a way that you start to exude this totally different person, I can create a ripple effect in your friends, your family, your coworkers, mentors, your neighbors, whoever it may be, and that's really the focus. So everything from doing nonprofit work, donation classes, supporting nonprofits, being actively involved. My coaches are tutors, they're mentors. We're involved with the youth. I mean, we get deep in the community because the idea is another gym is going to be here one day. This thing's not going to last forever. And when another gym comes in, they're going to be like, oh, this is a cool concrete wall. Rip these stickers off. We're going to use it for something different. And that's fine. That's how it works. But the legacy is found then within each member or each coach that can create a ripple effect through the community and it'd be a beautiful thing.
Giving back through Knowledge is Power program, something the youth are learning from. Is that important for you to give back?
Yeah, I mean, what else is the point, right? Sure, we all want to make money and we all want to be successful in our businesses, and this is pretty successful, but I can only own so many bikes because my garage is only so big. So what do I do when it becomes something greater than, hey, let's just be really successful? And the Knowledge is Power program is awesome because that's a group of students that just based on socioeconomic status, don't have the same luxuries that a lot of other people have. And so to give back to those kids is awesome. The Minds Matter program works with the same demographic of people, and we get to coach and mentor them on the physical, athletic side of things. And a lot of our members and coaches coach them on the studies side of things so they can start to see that there is a life outside of maybe the cycle that I've been born into, maybe the cycle that I've come from, and I can start to really make goals based on my heart as opposed to making goals based on what's available to me. So yeah, it's so much greater than what we're doing here.
Taking the chore out of exercise, you're making it fun again. Folks are definitely resonating with that, and it's something they want to do. Last time, folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their contact information. Like you said, if you're not sure if the gym is for you, come on in and check it out. It is a very sexy version gym here. We're talking about not just a water fountain over in the corner, but we're talking about a complete nutrition center over there. Was that something that's kind of unique I see in gyms?
Yeah, so we do a full raw juice and smoothie bar, and this has really been something I've wanted to do for the longest time. I chuckle because when we finally opened it, my mom flew out here, and she came and she ordered a smoothie, and I'm going to get goofy here, but she ordered a smoothie and she wouldn't let me give it to her. She's like, no, I'm paying for it because you've wanted to do this since high school, since college. I've known you want to do this. So our raw juice and smoothie bar is all about just providing people, yeah, you've done a great workout. Yeah, you can do cardio tomorrow. How can I make sure you're fueling your body with the exact things needed to say, hey, I can come back and do this again and again and again and feel good doing it. And that's what it's about.
Absolutely. Folks, if you don't feel the passion of the leaders that they put together here, we're talking about fitness leaders who inspire positive, healthy lifestyles. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.